Welcome back to the Rob Dibble Show. Michael Johnson Jr., Nick Federico, and Alex Green all in for Rob. The big man is on vacation, a much-needed and well-deserved vacation, but still kind enough to join us, with or without Rob on the program, someone I know well from my last job as well. It's the great Bob Nightengale, senior MLB writer and columnist from the USA Today. He's been busy, but still kind enough for a few here on Fox Sports Radio in Hartford. Bob, thanks for a few minutes as always. How are you on this Tuesday?
Yeah, doing great. How about yourself?
All good, Bob. Yeah, thanks. I know yesterday was busy, and a lot of Yankees fans may or may not have been a little frustrated with maybe lack of movement, but you're well in the know and may or may not have seen this coming. How should Yankees fans feel, honestly, yesterday, Bob, about the moves that were made and the guys that Brian Cashman went out and got?
Well, they're going to be disappointed because they expected more, expected a catcher, expected another bullpen arm, even another bat. It didn't happen. It was a quiet deadline for the Yankees, and I think it all hinges on Aaron Judge. I think if they knew for sure Aaron Judge was coming back, they'd be more aggressive. The fact privately they're a lot more pessimistic than what publicly. I think that they very worry that he's not coming back. If he's not coming back, why are we going to go all in? But it really doesn't matter.
Agreed. Yeah, it's well said, Bob. And listen, if they didn't get the catcher, they didn't get the shortstop. Obviously, call up George Lombard Jr., so there's that. But didn't address their needs at catcher. Do you think the Yankees, in your opinion, Bob, did enough yesterday? Do you think Cashman and company should have gone out and gotten another player or two to address some of their needs?
Yeah, I think they should have. But it's almost like if Judge doesn't come back, what difference does it make?
Right.
Not going to win a World Series without Aaron Judge. So I think the Judge thing is a big X factor in this because let's be honest. I mean, the American League is wide open. Whoever gets in there can get to the World Series. There's no Dodgers, no Atlanta, no Philly, no Milwaukee. It's just so a lot of mediocre teams. So I just think that they're very worried about Judge, and do you really want to go all in? You still got to think about next year and the year after that and all that stuff. When Judge returns.
Bob, this is Alex. Thanks for joining us today. The Red Sox traded for Adley Rutschman, gave up 3 top prospects to do that. We know he's on the IL right now. First of all, what are your thoughts overall on that trade for the Red Sox? And do you know any update on when Sox fans can expect Adley to suit up and make his debut with the Red Sox?
I love what the Red Sox did. Just prospects are prospects. Go for it. And they see a wide opening here. I mean, they looked like they were dead a month ago. Now I think that they're the best team in the American League. And now you got, shore up with a huge hole. I think Rutschman should be back in the next couple of weeks. And then you got him for next year, too. So I like the fact that they weren't worrying about prospects like a lot of GMs do and say, let's go in all right now. Because there's really no one we're afraid of in the American League. We think we can beat anybody.
Hi, Bob. Nick here. I just had a question for you. Obviously, Michael and I in the studio are the resident Yankees fans of the crew. We've been talking at length for what feels like a decade now about finally getting George Lombard Jr. his crack at the major league level and really putting the Anthony Volpe and the shortstop platoon era of the New York Yankees in the rearview mirror. What is in your opinion, a fair expectation for what we should see in the first maybe few weeks to month of George Lombard Jr.'s career in pinstripes, given the trend has been when new prospects get called up, it might take some time to knock that rust off and really get acclimated to the major league level of pitching?
Yeah, this is a big jump up from, coming where he did in spring training to now. I think realistically, it's like, remember when Volpe came up, he took off. It's almost like you hope he does what Volpe did when he first came up, when people were comparing him to Jeter. I think that's the thing you're worrying here. I mean, it's not going to carry an offense or anything like that. It's such a big adjustment going from the minor leagues to the major leagues. But hopefully he can hold his own, particularly defensively, and keep that job.
Bob, Alec Burleson, not 1, not 2, but 3 2-run homers last night in the Bronx in the 13-7 win over the Yankees. Tonight, he's not in the lineup. Now, we did some digging. We know he hits below 200 against lefties. But are you in the camp that I understand the analytics and the stats, lefty, you maybe sit him out, but based on the night he had last night, wouldn't it be wise of the Cardinals to maybe keep him in, ride the hot bat, see what he does, despite his average not being good against the lefty starter and Ryan Weathers the Yankees are throwing out there?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, the Cardinals aren't going anywhere. They're rebuilding. I mean, they gave the Red Sox World Series contender with Sonny Gray and Contreras by themselves. So why not reward him? I'd like to know what Elias looks up. I can't believe there's been a guy who was hit 3 home runs at Yankee Stadium and got benched the next day. This might be a first.
Bob, transitioning over to the NL, the Los Angeles Dodgers added Tarek Skubal to no surprise really of the baseball world. Are you surprised that more teams? Well, are you surprised at the package the Dodgers had to give up to get Skubal? And were you expecting it to take a bigger package?
I was expecting, better prospects. Those prospects are fine, but none of the Dodgers' top 5 guys. I think my biggest surprise was that they moved him 48 hours before the trade deadline. Why not wait to the end? Why not see if someone's going to up their offer? I think that's what the Milwaukee Brewers were thinking. Wait a minute, now really? You're giving to him already? I mean, what was the rush? So I mean, they weren't even taking offers until Saturday, and then boom, you trade them already. So that part was strange. If this was the last couple hours before the trade deadline, and that's the package, okay, makes sense. I guess that was the best one out there. But to not, shop it around more and say, okay, you guys sure you don't want to up it, or even ask the Dodgers, play poker, bluff if you want. Say we got better offers out there, and they didn't do that.
Nick here again, Bob. I wanted to ask you, there was some debate within our crew between myself, Michael, Alex, and Rob yesterday when he called in about the approach from Brian Cashman in terms of the trade deadline for the New York Yankees and whether or not the moves that were made, and the very few moves I would like to add, were sufficient enough to ante up the roster and bolster it for a run in October. Now, obviously, one of the glaring weaknesses was the catcher, and still is the catcher position, with Austin Wells and Ali Sanchez working as the tandem there. There were some prime targets between Ryan Jeffers was in talks with Minnesota, and also the young rookie out in Colorado, Hunter Goodman, who's having a fantastic season out there in Colorado. Neither wind up in pinstripes, and we're running back the same tandem that we've had all year long. Do you think, in your opinion, the moves that were made with Garcia and Ramos, which, mind you, neither is a catcher, neither is a shortstop, we got no relief help, do you think that's sufficient for the Yankees, or do you think Cashman should have done more and really forced another team's hand with a bundle deal or a package that they just simply couldn't refuse?
Yeah, I mean, I thought they would have done more. I mean, they were all, they admit they were involved in the Rutschman sweepstakes. Just got too rich for him as far as prospect-wise, which is fine. Goodman was never going to be traded. I thought that got way out of control. I mean, he's got 3 years left. He's better on the road than he is at home. And this guy's a young stud. If you're the Rockies, you trade him. What are you doing, Colorado? It's like these are the guys you build around. And then I think they got a bad break with Jeffers. The fact the Twins were going to trade him. They were willing to trade him, but then they got hot. And I think because of what happened last year when they had a fire sale, the fans went ballistic. It's like even though they had to catch and cover up for it, like a Contreras or something, why not? They had to keep him. I think just a public perception and for the players to say, hey. We're all in here. We're trying to win. So I just think the Twins changed their mind, and then they were left really with no one to turn to. So then I still go back to the Judge thing. I think if Judge was playing right now and healthy, it would have been a different story. Say Judge does come back. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's missed a lot of time. There was no way he's going to step right in and look like the Judge of old. So even if he does come back, I'm not sure what you're going to get.
Do you think he comes back? I'll piggyback right off that, not to put you on the spot. Do you think, because it's very vague, Bob, and we've kind of had this debate, do you think he comes back, let's say, in time for the Yankees in October, between now and then?
I hate to say this, but I don't think he does come back. I really don't.
I agree.
I've talked to Yankee people, and they're a lot more pessimistic than they let on publicly. A lot more pessimistic.
Yeah.
So I just don't think it's going to come back. I just think it's taken longer than anticipated and everything else. And I do think that's why it was reflected in trade deadline. I mean, say they went out and got Rutschman and those prospects, would it really make a difference if you don't have Aaron Judge in right field? You're not going to win a World Series without Aaron Judge.
Bob, transitioning away from the Yankees and the Red Sox, obviously the Red Sox and the Dodgers made the two biggest splashes at this deadline, trading for Skubal and Adley. Who are some other teams that you think didn't necessarily make big splashes but had good deadlines and positioned themselves either to get back in the postseason race or strengthen their chances of making a deep run in the postseason?
Well, I really like what Cleveland did. They got some offensive help there. They got some relief pitching, got a starter, and they can stash away for a sixth starter. I think they're going to win the division now. I think they're going to win the AL Central and be a force. And the American League is so wide open. I like what San Diego did. All we heard for weeks is like, okay, they're going to have to trade relievers to get some starters. Maybe it's time to sell and not go for it. Well, they got hot right toward the end of the trade deadline. And not only didn't have to trade a reliever, they were able to get two starters, in Robbie Ray and Casey Mize, two huge pickups. So I thought they did really well for themselves, particularly for a team where we've all been saying they don't have a farm system. And I thought the Cubs did a great job. They got two starters themselves, a couple of relievers. I think they're positioning themselves like, okay, we're going to give the Dodgers a battle here. And I still like the Phillies. I love the Phillies move. I know people are kind of second guessing it, or not second guessing it, first guessing it, and criticizing. I love Luis Ariz. I think he's perfect for that lineup. Get on base, doesn't strike out, causes havoc. I think that's a perfect fit. And kudos to Bryce Harper for willing to move to right field and make room for him.
With the acquisition of Tarek Skubal for the Los Angeles Dodgers, who are back-to-back World Series champions, and the fact that the Skubal trade acquisition essentially feels like just a depth piece for that starting rotation that's already star-studded with the likes of Glasnow, Yamamoto, Sasaki got moved to the bullpen, they have Snell, etc. Is there really a team, Bob, that you feel, whether it's on the National League side or Major League Baseball as a whole, that can dethrone the Dodgers in a 7-game World Series? Is that too lofty of expectations given the amount of star-studded talent that lineup has on both sides of the ball?
I mean, it can certainly happen. It wasn't like the Big Red Machine won every game, and the Yankees, that end came in Arizona in Game 7. So they didn't get cold. I mean, they deserved to win the World Series last year. They just got lucky that Toronto kind of choked there.
Yep.
So they can be beat. But I do believe if one team can knock them off, it's the Phillies. Just when you have Wheeler and Sanchez and Luzardo going 1, 2, 3, and a great closer in Duran, and obviously a lot of star power in that lineup, I think they're the one team that could scare them. I would have said the Brewers if they got him themselves, a team with Mizorowski, but they're just not that great number 2 guy to go behind Mizorowski with the Brewers.
They're very young as well, the Brewers.
Yeah, very, very young. Bob, before we let you go, you kind of had alluded to, based on piggybacking off of Alex's question for a second, teams that had really good trade deadlines yesterday. What about some teams that weren't active enough, do you think? Some teams that you think should have done more and maybe didn't have that great of days based on being too quiet yesterday at the deadline?
Well, I know Alex Anthopoulos, he's as good as a GM there is in the game. I thought they would do more. I thought they'd get that starter. I know they tried to get Jacob deGrom. He wouldn't waive his no-trade clause. That would have been a big help. But I thought they would have got a big-time number 2 starter to go with Chris Sale. Arizona's right there in the hunt for the wild card race. They didn't get a single starter, and they're in desperate need for starting pitching. They thought they had Clay Holmes, and when the prospects that was going back from Arizona to New York flunked his physical. So it kind of left him out there, wasting time, and all they did was get, Lars Newbar, reserve outfielder from St. Louis. So that one jumps out too. And I thought the Brewers should have done more. I like getting Sensatella for the bullpen, but I would have liked a lot more if they got a stud number 2 starter and not Dustin May. Dustin May is more of a crapshoot. You just don't know what you're going to get from him.
He is Bob Nightengale, ladies and gentlemen, senior MLB writer for the USA Today and MLB columnist as well. Follow him on Twitter, X, whatever you call it, at B Nightengale. Bob, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. I know it's a busy time, day after less than 24 hours removed from the trade deadline, but Rob sends his best. Next time we have you on, it'll be Rob and I again, per usual. But thanks for hopping on. We really appreciate it as always.
Sure, my pleasure. Thank you, guys. Take care.
Right. You got it. That's Bob Nightengale.